been killed in Washington, and had 200 or more Americans been killed in Washington along with that, and had the FBI, DEA, all sorts of agencies found that it was the Iranians who were responsible. And that, the way I see it, is that's the very bad thing that's going to happen. We're not going to do anything about it until it's much too late, and it's going to be much worse than just going after Iranian nuclear facilities. We're going after Quds Force barracks somewhere, somewhere in Lebanon, or somewhere in Iraq, or somewhere in Iran. So this is, again, this is the big issue that's lying behind, again, what I think is a very positive, the President's very positive visit to Israel. I think it's still an enormous problem.
Thanks, Lee. Just to also augment some of the things that David and Lee said. One, for all the Hill staffers here, I hope you'll look up the phrase timely warning, especially as it was defined in the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Act of 1978, Public Law 95-252. Because timely warning means not just that you detect a diversion of nuclear material, but you also have enough time to act before that diversion can be actually used for weapons purposes. And to David's point, we may detect a diversion of declared material, but for different reasons, whether it's at the UN Security Council level or just our own unwillingness to act, or what you might call the demand side problem of nuclear proliferation intelligence, sometimes policymakers don't want to know. We may not act quickly enough to prevent it. And I think that issue is extremely important. Especially, I'll note two things. One, in the unclassified statement that the Director of National Intelligence, Clapper, gave to Congress about worldwide threats, there was an assertion that the intelligence community says that it could detect a diversion of declared material by the Iranians. They have high confidence in that. But again, the issue is, A, the IAEA says it can provide no assurances that there is no undeclared material or equipment. And we do know in Iran, A, and B, what we do know is that Iran is, and we're happy to discuss this on a, offline on a more detailed basis. There's lots of good technical, and there's debate about this, but the Iranians are developing advanced centrifuges and other enrichment capability, which will shorten the amount of time they need to take low-enriched, so-called civilian-grade nuclear fuel, or even 20%, which is sort of at that cusp, that low end. We're not talking about a year. President Obama said that it may take a year or more for Iran to build a bomb. The estimates hinge completely on the assumptions you use on how the Iranians would either break out or sneak out of international inspections. And you have to be really clear about those assumptions. And thankfully, there are lots of smart folks. They don't always agree, but they're clear about their assumptions. And as long as you understand the assumptions, you can understand the actual amount of time that the Iranians might need whether they were to break out overtly or sneak out covertly. And just on that issue, sort of self-promotional here, we have some handouts here and two pieces here. A bulletin we did on as Obama visits Israel, Iran's nuclear threat grows, and on Iran and nukes, possibly costly. We talked about these issues. The online version of these have links to some of these analyses, and again, I think any of us would be happy to talk about those issues in detail. So in closing, I think it's fair to say that there was a certain sense of photo-op foreign policy in President Obama's visit to Israel. That often is, sometimes it's meant pejoratively, but sometimes photo-op foreign policy can be a good thing. We must sometimes have to admit. And certainly when it comes to Erdogan and Netanyahu and them actually talking, I think that is an important step. But make no mistake, there are lots of serious problems and growing problems and threats in the Middle East. And I think we up here all look forward to working with you on these issues. So please come up to us afterwards or offline. We're always happy to talk. Thank you for your time.